Hey everyone. How is it going? How are you doing today? All right. So today I want to talk about if your goals have feelings. Mhm. I don't mean like, oh, my goal's feeling sad. Although that's exactly how my goals used to be, right? I'm like, oh, this goal's sad because I'm not reaching it. That was before I changed. That was before my goal setting epiphany. So lately, I've been posting these videos within my Facebook group that I started and moderate because we are actually doing a 5 days to fall back in love with goal setting challenge. Um, and so I've been posting videos in there explaining all of these kind of new revelations and kind of the new way that I'm choosing to set my goals that have really worked for me in following my purpose, manifesting my desires, and um, being able to have goals that align with kind of my pathway. And so that's what we're doing in there is we're looking at this new goal setting strategy basically. Um, but I wanted to come on here for all of you because I felt like this is such an important piece of goal setting, but I also feel like it's a piece that is missing in the way we typically set goals, or if you've never even set goals before, right? So, thinking about our goal setting with feelings. Okay. Um, Here's what I know. Okay. I know that setting goals is really important because it gives you a roadmap and it gives you direction and it gives you clarity. So, if you are not setting goals, and it's kind of, and you're feeling like you don't have direction, right? Like, I just got this visual image of like a fish flopping around like out of water. And it's like trying, its goal is to get back into the water, right? But it hasn't actually stated any goals or written any goals down. So it's just like flopping around all over the place and it can't get to where it needs to be. that's that's just the image that popped into my head. Okay. And so having goals and writing goals down um, gives you that roadmap. Like, what do I want? Why? How am I going to get there? Right. And I'm not a doctor or scientist. Okay. But I have read that studies show that when you write down your goals, you are like 40 something, I think the number was like 42% more likely to reach your goals. Okay. So if you're not writing down your goals yet, I suggest you do it. Right. With that said, okay, in the past, when I used to write goals, I would feel like it was just one more thing, right? And there's a lot of reasons. Like, we write goals for personal reasons, but also a lot of times at your job or company, you'll have to write goals, right, for how you want to prove or improve or grow, right? And I'm also a teacher, so it's like you have to write goals for students or help them come up with their own goals. And so what I have found is a lot of times, for me anyways, is I would think about my personal goals or my professional goals and I would write them down. And then somehow in this process of like visualizing what I want for my life, right? And then thinking about, okay, well, what's the goal that goes with that, right? To actually writing the goal, something would get lost, right? And by the time I would write down my goal, and for a really, really long time, I was using the SMART. the SMART strategy, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. That's what SMART would stand for. And it's very popular in the goal setting world. And there's no right or wrong to the SMART goal. I used it for years, right? And so what I would do is I would write down either like an income goal or a personal goal or maybe like a health goal. And I would write it down, right? I have this vision, and then I'd be like, okay, this is where I want to go, and then here's my goal, right? And I would write it down, and then somehow after I'd write it down, it would lose all its meaning. And what would happen is I'd write it down, and even if I wrote it down like every single day, it became very like, what's the word I'm looking for? It would almost become like a benchmark, right? And then so if I wasn't getting close to it or if I wasn't reaching it, then instead of like being like, I'm going to work harder to achieve it, it was more like slowly escalating, and then it would just like flatline, right? And so for me, I was like, setting these goals doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't. Because, I mean, yeah, there were times where I'm like, yeah, I didn't even meet the goal, right? And that doesn't feel good. But I also feel like sometimes when we place things like a time, an amount, we're putting, as my friend Lauren would say, arbitrary numbers on ourselves. And then what tends to happen is then we start to place all of our worth within those arbitrary numbers, right? And that is the exact opposite, or at least in my view, that is the exact opposite that I want for my goals, right? And so one of the things I realized that was missing, right, from my goals was the feeling. Right? So I have all this vision, right, for my life and the things I want for myself, personally, professionally, for my community, for my kids, for my, husband and our family and all that kind of stuff. And then I'd start writing these goals and I'd be like, well, this was great, right? This, not so much. And one thing that I've learned and realized is the piece of the puzzle that I was missing was the feelings, right? So I would write things out, by January 31st, 2021, I will be making $6,000 a month, through this, and this, right? And then I would write that every day. And by like the third day, I'm like, doesn't even like. And I realized that I wasn't thinking about what would actually happen, how would I feel if and when I accomplished that. And so it kind of just got to a point where it was just another thing, just another list, basically, just another to do, right? And that is not what I want for my goals, and that is not what I want for yours, right? And so, if you're a part of the 5 days to fall back in love challenge, I already posted kind of your action steps for today, and this is in there. If you're not a part of that challenge and you're like, I want to start writing goals, but I don't even know where to start, or if you're like, yeah, I write goals and they mean nothing, or they feel like one more thing to do, right? Like, so if you never have written goals before and you want to start and you don't know where, right? Or if you're like, yeah, I write goals, but I feel like something's missing too, or the way I'm doing it doesn't feel like me, okay? You can go ahead and pop into that challenge if you want. It's, we're on day 3 right now. However, you can start anytime because it'll be in the guide section, right? So if you want to do that, I'll just put the link in the comments, okay? All right. So getting back to however you write your goals, whether you're in the challenge, whether you have written goals for years and years and years, or whether you're just starting, one thing I would suggest is to think about the feelings in your goals. How will it feel? What will it feel like when you accomplish this goal? Give your goals feeling, okay? Thoughts create our realities. Okay, I'm just going to state that as a fact. I don't have any science behind it. I just know, okay? Lots of books out there about it. You can read yourself, okay? What I know for me is my thoughts create my reality. Okay? My thoughts and paired with my feelings magnetize that reality. And unfortunately, that's good or bad, right? That can go positive or negative, or, abundance or scarcity. Okay. So for me, and now I'm sharing with you, I want my goals, my thoughts, my words that I'm trying to put into reality to have a feeling attached to it so that it's magnetized. Right? I make $6,000 a month. Right? You can even have your so that. Right? So that I don't have to worry about buying groceries. Right? So that I can provide for my family. So that I can take a vacation. Right? All of those things. What would that feel like? What is that going to feel like when you accomplish that? That's what we're going for. Alrighty. So, do your goals have feelings? Well, one, are you writing your goals? If you are, do they have feelings attached to them? Right? If not, if you're not writing goals and you kind of want to know where to start, pop on over to the 5 days to fall back in love with goal setting challenge. You can start on day one. It'll pick you up, teach you, right, a refreshed version of setting goals. Alrighty. You guys have the best day. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.